welcome to Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. Open Conversation is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events, and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system, and actor to explore hope and agenda positive impact to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we'll look at, first, Bayelsa State. Appeal Court declines to disband election tribunal. And on Edo State, House of Assembly moves to impeach Deputy Governor Shuaibu. Then we'll go to Plateau State. Government uncovers malicious plans to swear in APC lawmakers. And on Labour Party, Appeal Court affirms Abure as national chairman. Do not go away. When we come back from this break, I'll introduce you to my guests and we'll go into the show.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. She said $3,000 is 1,000 to collect $3,000. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the dumb thing. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human trafficker.
Honorable
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now can come and salvage.
Welcome back. I have with me on the show today Ifeanyi Chukwu Ugochukwu. Ifeanyi Chukwu is a political analyst. Good morning and welcome to Open Conversation, Mr. Ifeanyi Chukwu.
Good morning, Mrs. Moderator, and I'm happy to be on Atlantic Television Network today.
It's a pleasure, sir. On to the story. The President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Monica Domba Mensem, has declined to disband the Bayelsa State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal. The PCA dismissed a petition the All Progressive Congress and its candidate, Chief Timipre Silva, filed to sack the three-member panel of justices that are currently hearing the case they filed to challenge the outcome of the governorship election that held in the state on November 11, 2023. The petitioners had insisted that they no longer have confidence in the ability of the Justice Adekunle Adeleye-led panel tribunal to do justice in the electoral dispute. While accusing the panel of openly exhibiting its bias against them, the petitioners alleged that whereas they proposed to call a total of 224 witnesses to prove that the election was not won by Governor Duoye Diri of the People's Democratic Party. The tribunal only allowed them to call 49 witnesses within 7 days. In the petition that was signed by their lawyer, Mr. Sylvester Elema, SAN, Silva and the APC said they were denied fair hearing by the tribunal, which they further accused of distorting its records of the proceedings to favor the respondents. Likewise, in a separate letter they forwarded to the tribunal, Sylvia and the APC applied for their case against the outcome of the Bayelsa governorship poll to be adjourned sine die, pending the outcome of their petition against the tribunal. Following the developments, the tribunal on March 4 suspended further hearing on the matter to await the decision of the appeal court president. However, in her response to the petition, the appeal court president dismissed it for want of merit, even as she gave the panel the nod to proceed with the hearing. Consequently, the tribunal, in a hearing notice that was signed by its secretary, directed the parties to return before it next week. The petitioners had since closed their case, even as the tribunal ordered the respondents to open their defense. Mr. Ifeanyi Chukwu, what do you make of this whole drama going on between APC, the election tribunal, and the appeal court? Do you think the judgment was fair?
Thank you once again, moderator. I think if you go by the storyline and by most of the shenanigans we see in Nigerian electoral system and the elections, you find out that after the elections proper, there's always a room for those who participated and who are, so to say, dissatisfied with the outcome of the election to approach 3 categories of the law court, ranging from the tribunal, as is in the case of the governorship election, they have up to the Supreme Court. So, and when you see the appeal that the APC candidate, Temipri Silva, filed against Justice Adekunle Adeye and his panel, you will see that it is biased. It is biased in the sense that the election contested and won, and in the Electoral Act 2022, as amended, you find out that all the stages of this litigation, as it concerns the outcome of election, is time bound. They have made it. It is not always as it was in perpetuity. You could remember when we started the nascent democracy, as they call it, from 1999, election litigations could go for years. The Electoral Act has tinkered with it and said that those things should be time bound. Even as we as social crusaders, we are still pushing for there to be those litigations to be done with before the swearing in. But as the document that the INEC is still working with now is the Electoral Act as amended in 2022 has given a time ban. You cannot come out from election and say that you witnesses, because you are given 7 days to do that, and these justices, they are also working with time. So they now allowed 49 witnesses. If you have a case, and remember that Bayelsa State is only 8 local governments. In 8 local governments, how many electoral wards do you have? How many polling booths do you have? And you were able to be given the lifeline of producing about 49 witnesses. That should cover, that should suffice. So, and are you making this assertion in this material time? Is it the PDP-led administration in Bayelsa State that constituted the said electoral panel? It emanates from the Supreme Court. It emanates from the federal government. And the federal government, as we know today, is being spearheaded by APC. So when you look at Temipri Silva and how he performed and what he did as of Petroleum for State, How did he affect the life of people? Politics is about the grassroots. You don't play politics from Abuja. You don't play politics thinking that most times is what we see in Nigeria in quote, that is for the money bags. No, politics should be played in the grassroots. So if the receiver has lost the confidence he has in this electoral panel, what he should do is to await. Maybe PDP will be the people now crying foul when they get to appeal court. But I'm so happy that Justice Monica Dudumban has, done a very good justice to it. Because if you say that you are listening to the petition of the APC and you're going to disband the already constituted panel, it will also take some time for the incoming panel chairman to go through the work that is already being done by the Adekunle Adeleye panel before they proceed. And I don't think that Temi Preseva will be the best for it, because he may be shooting himself on the foot, because the defendant will be waiting for him in the hideout, because once the timeline elapses, there is nothing you can do. You cannot call out time, call back the time of the panel to sit. Once that particular 3 months or that particular 1 month time is elapsed, it's gone, you can't retrieve it. Then he'll be going to the appeal court. So it is better for him to see this through, as is the first step in the leg of the length of time and the number of courts they are to approach. So I didn't see it as anything biased. The appeal court president or chairman has done the needful in order to save time.
All right. On to the next story. The Edo House of Assembly has asked Yahaya Omobai, East Clark, to serve Philip Shaibu, deputy governor of the state, with an impeachment notice. During plenary on Wednesday, Charity Aigobuaregian, the majority leader, announced the petition dated March 5 against Shaibu. She said the petition was signed by 21 of 24 members of the State Assembly. He added that the petition was anchored on 2 grounds of perjury and revealing of government secrets. Blessing Abebaku, the Speaker, acknowledged the receipt of the petition and directed Omobai to serve Shaibu with the impeachment notice. The Speaker said Shaibu had 7 days to respond to the impeachment notice. On Saturday, Shaibu said he has been receiving impeachment threats over his involvement in the governorship primary election of the People's Democratic Party. The deputy governor said he would not be deterred, as contesting the Edo governorship election is his constitutional right. Over the past few months, there has been a rift between Shaibu and Obaseki. On July 28, 2023, Shaibu approached the Federal High Court in Abuja with a suit to prevent an alleged impeachment plot against him. Reacting to the suit, Obaseki alleged that Shaibu wanted to kick him out of office because of his desperation to succeed him. He also said there was no plan to impeach Shaibu. On September 5, 2023, Shaibu withdrew the suit he filed against Obaseki. Has been served against Shaibu. Do you think this is a case of witch hunting? If you look at the history between Shaibu and Obaseki, and which trickled down to the recent Edo PDP primary election, do you think this is a comeback from Obaseki as a result of Shaibu's involvement?
I see this as an effort in futility.
Why do you say so?
Yes, it's an effort in futility because the Obaseki-led administration in Edo State is already winding down. He should be thinking of consolidating where he has not done well. Remember that it is this same Shaibu, if we can go down memory lane, that made Obaseki what he is today, because he galvanized support for him against his own uncle and brother, Adam Soshomole. And there was, I could remember during the tenor of Obaseki's fight, Shaibu going confrontational with Oshomole and saying that, let me know the youthfulness of my importance and your own political godfatherism that will prevail in Isan or Isako, East or West local government where they came from. So he stood his ground against all us to make sure that Obaseki emerges. But this is what we see in the Nigerian political circle. In the Nigerian political circle, is like the winner takes it all. Like former President Jonathan just asserted a few days ago, that the problem of the Nigerian politics is winner takes it all. So we quickly, you know, we always have a short memory as what it is like in Nigeria to have that particular friendship or that particular oneness as when it comes to politicking. So in what is happening between Oshomole and between Shaibu and Obaseki, like I said, it is they are just playing to the gallery. Now, Shaibu is in one faction of PDP. Let's assume that PDP is now factionalized because two parallel elections, primary elections were held, where Shaibu emerged from one. So we will wait for the courts to ascertain the one that is the authentic primary. Because from where the NWC, the people that NWC sent to go down to Edo State to go and midwife the primary elections is from where we are going to see the camp that has the authenticity and the backing of the PDP. So this fight, they are coming to the media to watch their lenience and say that they want to serve impeachment notice. It cannot work. Because remember that before you impeach a deputy governor, the Attorney General and the Commissioner for Justice will constitute a panel and also go for an investigation to find out. It is not this thing that the Edo Half Assembly that is a puppet and subservient to Obaseki is doing. They are playing to the gallery. It will not be easy. Because you remember what happened in Osun State. In Osun State, when they wanted to impeach the deputy governor, David, it didn't fly because he saw out his tenure. What Obaseki will do if he wants to, you know, winch hunt Shaibu, as you have alleged. So if there is that kind of thought in him, he has a way of withdrawing some of his powers and pay him his constitutionally granted allowances and benefits, but just allow him to be a redundant deputy governor.
Hasn't that been done already?
He has done it, so what else does he want? What else does he want? But I am assuring you that this particular impeachment notice will not fly, and the House will not impeach him. If they impeach him, what happened between Jude Abaso and Rochas Okorocha will play out, where Jude Abaso went back to the court, and the court said that all his statutory emoluments should be paid to him. So what I will advise both camps is not to further degenerate and you know, further widen the gap existing between the people in PDP. PDP should be pulling together as it is now. Labour Party is by the corner, and you know that Labour Party won most of the elections they conducted in Edo in the presidential, and you will also note that they are coming out with a force, and yes, they are coming out with a force. So the more PDP, who has held sway with in the governance of Edo State in the past 8 years, beginning now to, you know, to pull from different angles. And I want Nigerians to know that Shaibu is not somebody you toy with. Despite the fact that we know the powers inherent in governors' statutory powers, but when it comes to Edo politics, I think Shaibu has learned it. You saw what he did when they had Edo 2022 federal, National Sports Festival. He was the show boy. He was a poster man there. He was there all through. he connects directly with the youth, with the grassroots. So if PDP want to return Edo State, they should even be knowing how to pacify Shaibu, because...
Do you think at this point Shaibu can be pacified, or they've reached a point of no return? Because it appears the issue between Shaibu and Obaseki at this point is personal. You know, it's different in the case of APC, you know, because that's purely political
gimmicks.
Yes. But between Obaseki and Shaibu, it appears to be a game of ego right now, and Shaibu is pained. So it appears to, for Shaibu, it might be personal at this point.
If Oshomole and Shaibu and Oshomole and Obaseki can embrace and can even be seen eyeball to eyeball or agreeing on, there is nothing like a personal problem in this. Politics is a game of interest. Where your interest lies, that's where you go. Obaseki, Shaibu can be pacified. Shaibu, those in the working the heavens didn't fall. So, and because he have a supportive and astute and grassroots-rooted politician by his side as Shaibu, the deputy worked assiduously to make sure that there was no... I don't know how we tend to forget history so easily. About 3 years or 4 years ago, the election is coming up by November, right? So by 4 years ago, you find out that most of the commissioners, I was even afraid. I spoke about that particular election, but I predicted that Obaseki was going to win. You find out that his commissioners, I never saw that. His commissioners were resigning in droves. Secretary of the state government resigned. A lot of people who were around him resigned, but these guys stood with him, and they were able to put through with the magnanimous and sagacious input of the now Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Jason Wike. You saw the strengths that he put that led to Obaseki emerging. And again, you saw the interest, where their interests aligned in the 2023 February 28th election, and today they are also coming back together in PDP to make sure that PDP wins Edo State. Because you cannot tell me that the Jason Wike I know will come out in the open to support a PDP governorship candidate in Edo State. He will still play with his party in other years behind the curtain. So those things that are happening in the Edo State, I see it as political distractions, which will at the end of the day either make or mar the chances of PDP from returning that state.
All right. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll look at Plateau State. Don't go away.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on The Fact Today, only on ATN.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. POS operator, she said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the Tonte. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human trafficker.
Honorable they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN. Stay focused on the fact today. Only.
Welcome back. The Plateau State government has revealed that some persons planned to forcefully break into the State House of Assembly chamber to swear in the 16 All Progressive Congress lawmakers, as affirmed by the Court of Appeal. As against this background, the state government vowed to ensure diligent constitutional processes must be followed over the logjam. Correspondent report says that in the early hours of Tuesday, men of Plateau State Police Command averted a clash between the supporters of the 16 APC lawmakers who wanted to force their way into the assembly complex and some of the PDP members, some of the PDP supporters loyal to the sacked PDP members. They were dispersed by the police, who later cordoned off the assembly to prevent both parties from gaining access into the premises. The special advisor to Governor Caleb Muftwang on strategic communication, Honorable Timothy Golu, while reacting to the development, said the unfortunate incident was a shock to the government, considering the fact that the State House of Assembly has shifted its site sitting to the old government house because the premises were under renovation. Golu said the Speaker of the House, Honorable Gabriel Diwan, was handicapped in swearing in the 16 lawmakers because of 2 court injunctions restraining him, adding that as a law-abiding citizen, he has no choice but to restrain himself until the determination of the suit. Golu, a former member of the House of Representatives, said the Muftwang-led administration will not condone lawlessness, adding that the government believes in the rule of law and will never use illegal means or circumvent the process. Dr. Ifeanyi Chukwu, what's your take on this debacle going on in Plateau State?
The back and forth in Plateau State is a result of we, the Nigerian nation, not really knowing what we want. The laws are there to guide the human activities. If not, it will be the case of a lawless society where the mighty is the person that will inherit the city. In the law of the 48 laws of the book, the boss, your subordinates do not outshine you, even when he has that in mind. The case that is happening in two states is what we have seen happen in Zamfara State after the 2019 general elections. The heavens didn't fall. I don't know why the case of Plateau State will be different. The appeal court, which is the final adjudicating court for House of Assembly elections, has made a pronouncement. There's a court proclamation. Is binding. Is binding on all citizens and all litigants to adhere to the pronouncement of the courts. So I don't know why the PDP is still waiting. Does it mean that there is no court order that instructed INEC to withdraw the certificate of return given to the PDP lawmakers? Is it that, like you see, what is the same scenario seems to be playing out in River State, where everybody is dig-darling? When those in considered authorities know the truth. The PDP lawmakers in Plateau State, what they are saying now is that they are above the law, and them being people that are also elected to protect the constitution, they should know that if you lose election today, it's a contest. you can also go back tomorrow and you win another election. So if PDP lawmakers are head-bent on continuing with their mandate, which has been nullified by the Appeal Court Election Tribunal, which is the final stage as it concerns for House of Assembly legislatures. So I don't know where they are deriving their powers from. So the Supreme Court, because I learned that because of the governor, Caleb, winning his own elections in the Supreme Court, is what is now, prompting them to be head-bent, that they are calling back the judgment. They want the Supreme Court to interpret. The Supreme Court in this particular material time is handicapped because each of the law courts, though they are concurrent, but they have their statutory powers, and that is why they are instituted. They have their own chief, and the Constitution has given them powers. So what is happening in that particular Plateau State now is a case of Nigeria as a state not coming out to us. But I am telling the Plateau State PDP lawmakers that they cannot get that by fiat or by hinging on the Supreme Court victory of their sitting governor. Then what should prevail, in my final analysis, is what happened in Zamfara State, where even the governor, all the elected members, both the Senate, House of Representatives, and anybody that sat for election in 2019 was removed by a court pronouncement. That should also suffice in Plateau State.
Right. Still on court matters, the Court of Appeal in Abuja has affirmed Julius Abure as the chairman of the Labour Party. The appellate courts also set aside the decision of the Federal Capital Territory High Court, which last year restrained Abure and two others from parading themselves as national officers of the party. Justice Hamza Muazu of the Federal High Court Territory, Federal Capital Territory High Court, had last year granted an ex parte order ordering that Abure and two other national officers stop parading themselves as leaders of the party for allegedly forging national documents, but the appellate court set the verdict aside. However, in a judgment delivered by Justice Hamabaka, the appellate court held that the High Court was wrong to have assumed jurisdiction on the matter. The appellate court also awarded a cost of 1 million naira in favor of Abure and against the respondent, Lamidi Apapa. Following the 2023 presidential poll with Labour Party's Peter Obi coming third, Abure had been in a protracted legal conflict with Apapa, who led them to the party's chairmanship. Is this victory for Abure a deserved one?
It's a victory long awaited. To my own analysis, it is not a victory per se. It has been a distraction all through. Just
more like a distraction.
This is a judicial distraction. A judicial distraction and judicial conflict. We have been calling on the Nigerian judiciary to purge themselves of conflicting orders. We have been calling on them to make sure that they, once you have a court of the same jurisdiction that have the same powers, making different pronouncements in the same matter, I mean, it calls for caution. That ridicules our judicial system. Because remember that a high court in Abuja had already affirmed Abure. And they now, by justice in Nigeria, the Apapa-led faction went to another court of concurrent jurisdiction and powers to obtain another funny order. So which one do we obey? The judiciary left us at sea in trying to understand what they were playing with. and what they were playing at. So if by today the appeal court, which is now assuming higher court order when it comes to those litigations that were happening in magistrate court and the high court, has settled the issue. And it has been a distraction for the Labour Party all through, before, during, and after the 2023 presidential election. And you could see the kind of allegations they are placing on him, that firearms and what other sort of allegation, which you see the man in his character is far from being attributed to him. So what we are saying in Nigeria, when you are playing politics, don't play dirty politics to pull another person down. And this has, you know, made me conclude that Abure has been a stooge all this while in the hands of political oppositions, those who were afraid of the kind of mass revolution that was coming from the Labour Party, those who are sympathetic to them, and the hurricane that we saw that was coming from the obedient family. It was just a distraction. And we really thank the appeal court for coming out with a pronouncement that now makes it clear, until there is another higher court judgment that is puncturing this particular appeal court judgment.
You think Lamidi will go to higher courts?
They could go to any length, because what they want is to destabilize, you know, puncture and cause confusion in the Labour Party, because Labour Party is a very strong thought force. You remember when the former Minister of Education, Obi Ezekwesili, was talking about he was talking about the office of the citizens, the thought force. That thought force came through
Labour Party.
And anybody who is a politician in Nigeria who is telling you that he is not disturbed by Labour Party's antecedents and what they have come up with, is just playing to the gallery, and must be playing with his or her political future. You know, in Abuja, as the Senate is concerned, it's been ruled by the Labour Party, which is the highest electoral position when it comes to Abuja as a city or a concurrent state in Nigeria. So we are happy that at the end of the day, Aburi has secured his seat, and he can concentrate, go and do the account of whatever monies they have gotten during the elections, and then clear his name, and then assume the authority and reposition the Labour Party for the election coming up in Edo State.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ifeanyi Chukwu. It was a pleasure having you on Open Conversation this morning. Thank you. Thank you so much, and I'm happy to be here. I also thank the viewers, and continue to say that Atlantic Television Network will continue to go places. Thank you. Thank you. You can always stay connected to us on Atlantic Television Network socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Ogulorensha Choma. Transition News comes up next.
On ATN.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place